installing Power BI. Okay, and then we look at data transformation, which is called ETL, which is again hands-on. And we have, then once you learn ETL, we will move you into what is called DAX. Now DAX expressions, DAX data analysis expressions is a set of functions created by Microsoft, which makes culling out information or culling out insights from data very easy and very and easy to use. Okay, then we have what is called, that is when we get into visualization. After these three steps, we take you through the visualization part, where we will help you create stunning visualizations which will actually be extremely useful for people looking at it. Then we get into what is called BI service. We will take you through how to get onto the BI service, how to publish your data onto the BI service, so that people who are not part of your team also can see. Now, when I say Power BI service, it's a web-based service, and it will be on a browser. So you don't need, the people who are looking at your data, your visuals, do not need to have Power BI installed on the machines. In fact, they can even log in from a mobile using the Power BI app on the mobile and look at the data. That is there. Then we come to, we will teach you on what is connectivity modes, how to connect to live data. Okay, so this is important because nowadays everything is online. So how do you connect with live data? How do you set up a refresh rate? How do you refresh the data so that then once you've designed it and you've published it, then you don't need to keep on looking at it. It will automatically do a refresh and take care of things. That's also a hands-on approach. Then we have the Power BI report servers. There are some companies who would say, I would not want my data on any other web service. I want it on my own systems. I want it in my own in-house. So we will teach you how to set up a Power BI report server and how to create a report on a Power BI report server. Okay. Then we take you through R and Python integration in Power BI. When I say R and Python integration, we show you how you can integrate R and how you can integrate Python in Power BI. R is a software used for creating to do statistical calculations and creating visuals using statistical calculations. Now Python, I think everybody knows, Python is used to automate Power BI wherever need be. Okay. Then we come to our last but not the least, advanced analytics in Power BI. And finally, you will be doing an in-class project with me, that's the trainer, and I will take you through the in-class project, and then you will be given a different project for your hands-on experience. Now, this is the journey that we will take you through in Power BI certification training course in Edureka. Now, let us understand what is the Power BI desktop. Now, where do I get this and all that? Now, what I want to do is, I want to take you through how to get to Power BI. Let us understand where you need to go to get Power BI, right? Just if you open your Google and if you just type in Power BI installation, it will take you straight to this. You see this powerbi.microsoft.com. You right click here, open this in a new window. Power BI will open up here. This, you go to products and select Power BI desktop. And here you click see download or language options. You just click on this. It will open up in a new web page where you will find here download page. Click on this. You will come to see here, depending on your system, whether if it's a 32-bit system, you click this and download it. If it's a 64-bit system, then you click this and download this. So depending on what your system is, you can click and download it. Once you download, you go to next, it will download and you can install Power BI desktop onto your machine. Okay. Now, once Power BI is installed, and when you open Power BI, it will look like this. This is how your Power BI looks. This is your basic screen of Power BI. All right. Okay. Let me before. Okay. Now, this is your basic screen of Power BI. So when you look at Power BI, let me create, okay, what you can do here is, when you look at Power BI, Microsoft themselves gives you a small sample set of data. So it is here, try a sample set of data. Before that, let's understand what is Power BI. This is your home screen on Power BI. This is the ribbon of Power BI, and you have your tabs here: home, insert, modeling, view, help. These are your tabs here, which is available here. Power BI is a software which keeps updating month on month, every month, once in 2 months or once in a month, it keeps updating. So new updates will keep coming down. So if you go to help and you check out your about, it will tell you, you see, this is the latest version I have got, April 2022. Okay, so it keeps updating. The updates will come up here in the bottom. It will come and say, it will come saying, click here to update, new version available, and it's all free. You don't have to worry about it, right? Now, when you look at this, and you see here on the right side, you will find here three things: filters, visualizations, and fields. Now, fields, we don't have any because we have not added any data yet into Power BI. Visualizations, this is the pane which we will use the most to get all your graphs and charts out here. And filters, to create some filters where we can filter out data. Right, now, to start with, if you see here on the left hand side, this is your report page, report pane, where you can build your reports, visual reports. This is your data pane, where you will see the data that you're loading into Power BI. Nothing is loaded right now. And this is your relationships pane, where you can build relationships with data inside Power BI. Okay, so let us look at loading a sample set. You can, when you download Power BI, you can simply load the sample set from here. It will load the data, right? So if you see here, there is a sheet called financials, and there is one sheet one which has got some data there. I am just taking this financials data and clicking on transform data. Now transform data will take me to the Power Query editor. Now Power Query editor is the place where this is separated from Power BI. It is not Power BI. You see, it's a different window. Power BI is behind there. Okay, this opens up in the Power Query editor. In the Power Query editor, we check the data, and if necessary, clean the data. Also, we decide what data we need to take in. Do we need everything there, or do we not need certain amount of data? And we decide what data must come inside. Now, when you do talk of cleaning up of data, you check this data here. You check for this green mark. This is not a line. This is a graph which indicates if there is anything wrong in the data, then it will tell you that there is something wrong in the data there. Right now, if you see I hover there, it tells me 100% clean, valid, no errors, no empty. So that is what we check for. We check for all columns. We check for that. Now, suppose I don't want certain columns. I do have my, let's say, these dates. I think I have the dates here. I say I don't want my month name column, so I remove it. Right click, remove this. And if I don't want my year column, I remove it. All that I do here is it's shown in the applied steps here. So you will have everything, even month number. Let's remove this. Okay, I don't want this right now for my analysis, so I've just removed out this data. So all my actions are here in the applied steps. Now what happens is, next time when you load the same type of data, all these applied steps will be applied. Whatever you have done will get applied. You have to do it only once. Again, next time it gets applied and you get the same data out here. All right. Okay. Let me just see. Okay. Now, once you have done this, it is a simple thing. Once you have done all this, you just go to close and apply, and it will load this data into Power BI desktop. Depending on your machine speed and all that, it will take the time taken for application of the data is there. Now you see in the fields, I get my financials and I get everything there. I get all my country, all these things. Now, if you want to see the data, you click on the data view and you will see your data here. This is the data that you see here. Whole data, everything is here. Now, if you look at this side panel here, we have your sales COGS. You see the sigma sign there. That is an indicator that those fields are numeric fields. And if you see nothing next to it, it's a text field. And dates will come like this. Dates always comes with a date field, right? So if you see discount band is a text field, product is a text field, segment, all the others are all numeric fields. That sigma sign means that aggregations and calculations can be done using this. All right. So now, when you look at your visuals here, Power BI to build up visuals is the most easiest thing possible. For example, if I want to see my total sales, I come up with a card. I just click on this card and just drag this sales and drop it into the card, and it will immediately show me my total sales. Now, if I don't like it, if I don't like to see it as millions, then I need to go to format, And in my call out value, I need to go to auto. Okay, I need to go to auto and change this. I can change it to thousands and I get it as thousands, right? So it's as simple as this. It's very, very simple to use. It's not a very difficult thing to do. For example, now, if I want to know segment wise what is the sale, I bring in a chart like this, a clustered bar chart, just increase the size of the bar chart and bring in my, just drag my segment into the bar chart. All my segments will come through and I bring my sales into the bar chart. Immediately Power BI develops the bar chart for me. It is extremely simple, extremely useful to use. I would definitely suggest that you try it out because it's not very difficult to use at all, right? So if this is so simple to use, and if I want to color these bars separately, I can come to my format and you will see here bars and you see the colors. I can change the colors here, right? I can select any color that I want and color the bars. The bar colors gets changed. Okay, so if I click on show all, it will show me all the colors. You see here, I can select individually for each segment what is my color. For example, in government, let's say I want government in blue, I want small businesses in say deep red. So if I want my enterprise in a different color, orange for example, mid market segment I would want it maybe darker blue, and if I want my last one, channel partner, I want it in some other color, some yellow color. So I can individually select my color bars here. I can do that as well, right? Now if I want to know my values on that, if I need to see what is my values there on the bars itself, you will have here, right, data labels. I switch my data labels on, it will show me my data there. On the bar itself, it will show me my data. So it is, I'm just trying to tell you, it is as simple as this that you need to work on Power BI. Very, very simple software. Let's create one more visual. For example, I have my profits here, right? So let's say, let's look at country segment. Okay, product wise, let's take my vertical bar chart here. Okay, let's put it here. Let's increase its size. Bring my product name, drag my product name into it, and let's look at my profits generated. So I now know for each product what is the profit generated. It is as simple as this, people. You don't have to struggle too much with Power BI. You can create multiple charts in one page and you can open multiple pages so that your charts can keep on adding up, right? So if you look at creating a, let's say creating a pie chart, let's create a pie chart or a donut chart. Okay, so if you create a pie chart and if you go by segment wise, so you get all your segments, and if you create your, if you check your profit on the segment wise, so it now tells you profit on segment, how the profit on segment is. Resizing a chart is as simple as dragging and dropping, dragging it out, making it bigger or smaller. It's as good, as simple as that. So you have now developed, see, I have already developed 4 basic charts here, right? Then we have something called DAX expressions, which I would not go into deep in depth today because it is, DAX expressions takes a lot of practice that for you to understand what's DAX expressions. So this is about visualizing data in Power BI, and this is how we go about visualizing the data in Power BI, right? So I can create one more page here if need be, and let us bring in, okay, let's take in one more set of data, which means that I have the second set of data there. So let's go to get data, and from, okay, so I cannot access that particular data now back into that. We should have taken both the sheets inside. Doesn't matter. Let's do date wise. Okay, now I'm creating a simple table here, right? And if you see, I open my date, I get my date hierarchies here. It automatically has built those hierarchies. So if I say, if I take it year wise, if I drag my year out here, it gives me, you see, both my years, 2013, 2014. So I can now figure out what was my sales for 2013, 2014. I can compare what is my profit for 2013, 2014. I can also compare what was my cost of goods that I sold for 2013, 2014. It is as simple as this. Now, if you want to see this in a bigger manner, come to Format tab, come to your column headers, you can increase your fonts here, you see, and in my values also you can increase your fonts here. So now you can see this in a much bigger manner, right? So you can create a simple visual like this, or you can go to a more complex visual where I can create a matrix. So with the matrix on, I can take out maybe quarter-wise data. I just put quarter-wise data, and let's put in our sales data quarter-wise, right? The totaling is done on the side, on the top, and all that. So I can set it up so that the rows also total out. Let's say if I do, okay, I have got my sales. Okay, let's instead of taking the quarter out, I'm taking the quarter out. Let's bring in the product here in the rows, and I bring in my quarters into my columns. So now if you see here, it immediately gives me a complete detailed table with row-wise totals and column-wise totals, right? So what is it doing? If you look at it, how do you read this? This product Amarilla, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and the total sales across for Amarilla for all the years. So that is how. It's as simple as building up these tables, and this is what Power BI does. It's extremely useful, extremely easy to work with. So once you have created all these reports, then you need to sign into the Power BI service, and you can publish these reports online. So once you publish the reports online, the online BI service online will take it up, and then you can give access to people from there. So people need not have Power BI on their machines at all. They can look at it from the service. So Power BI is easy to use, Power BI is easy to understand, and Power BI is fun to learn, because while learning Power BI, you really will have fun because you're going to work with graphs and charts and visualizations and etc, etc, etc. Okay, so this would be what Power BI does all about. We have a visualization panel here, and yes, there are many more things like DAX expressions, etc, etc. I would just connect one more data set, a couple of data sets, so that we see what will happen. What I use, Global Superstore. Okay, so I'm just using this data set to show you a few things on relationships, what relationships mean, why relationships, how you can model with Power BI. Data modeling, basically what I'm trying to show you is how to do a data modeling on Power BI. Let's just wait for it to open. Okay, now if you see, if I choose orders, I choose people. Okay, so I have here orders and people. Let's transform this data and let's check and see if it is clean data. Okay, see the type of rows that we are evaluating, almost 50,000 rows. So now this is in my Power Query editor, right? Now if I look at my orders table, let's look at my orders table first. If I look at my orders table, I'm waiting for the graphs to turn green so that it tells me if it's everything is hunky-dory, everything is nice. So I generally, what we do, okay, now you see here, it is all green here. So if you look at the state table, you come to the right, okay, and you wait for that graph to develop out to figure out if everything is nice and clean. Okay, if you see my postal code here, my postal code, it is showing me a gray line. What does it indicate? There are null values there. You see there, 804 null values. So what I do, I don't want my postal code. Let's remove the postal code, right? And if you look at anything else there, okay, the rest is okay. Okay, let's look at the first row. I don't want this row ID, so I'm removing this row ID, right? And then I come to my people's table. People, I have here person. Okay, orders, we will have person somewhere. Okay, 1 second, let me check where that person is coming from. Category, region. Okay. So my connecting column is the region column here. I think that is what is connecting the column there. Yes, my region column here. You see this? East Oceania, Central. So my people column table also has that same thing, East Oceania. Yes. Okay, so what we will do, when you look at this table now, you see here it says column 1, column 2 as headers, whereas I need this as my headers. So this also is extremely easy in Power BI. Just have to come here, use first row as headers, it will promote that as first row as headers. Now my tables are ready for import. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a close and apply. So let me go to a new page. Okay, now if I go to my report, if you see my relationships page, you will see this has automatically picked up a relationship. How does it do that? Power BI does it automatically. It looks at the column headers. If the column headers are the same, then it just picks up the relationship. If you see here, it has created a relationship between region here and region here. So there is a relationship there, right? So with two different tables, how can I develop a? Now, if I look at this is my financials I'm closing. If I look at my people here, people here, if I want to know how many people, what is the sales per person in the sales people range. So I just bring in my people person from here into my table, and from my orders table, I can bring in my total sales. If there is a total sales, I can bring in my total sales, or let's say, yes, sales. So I can bring in my sales here. So it is not necessary that you bring everything into one table. If you have a relationship built up, you can get the data out. So here you see when you do this, and if I change my font size to make it look bigger, it looks very nice, right? So this is the beauty of relationships in Power BI. Relationships are based upon a common table, a common column in both these tables. So the common column in these two tables are the region column. There is a region column here. It is not repeating. Region column here is repeating. So this is called a one-to-many relationship that has been developed. Clear? Okay. Right. Okay. So based on these relationships, you can build up visuals, you can create visuals, you can create anything that you want in Power BI. Now Power BI shows you only so many graphics, but then there are downloadable graphs, which means that you can sign into the BI service and you can download much more visualizations. A lot of visualizations are being developed by private people as well as by Microsoft. So the visualization panel is easy to use. It is extremely simple to use, right? So for example, here, if you see, let me get a visualization for a map. Okay, so if I bring in the map here, okay, and what do? We bring in state. Let's bring the state into this map. Immediately you see it will start to show you where all it is there, right? And if I bring in my sales data, where is my sales data? Yeah, and I bring in my sales data here, it will immediately see, you see the shading change, how the shading is changed. It is showing you globally where your sales data is, and in that blue shade color, correct? So it is easy in Power BI to actually put the data out on a map. It automatically does it based on the countries where your sale is happening. It automatically does this. Clear? So Power BI actually is an extremely easy to use tool. When easy to learn, you can learn it fast, quite easily, right? So thank you so much. This is Jayant here signing off. Thank you very much.